Tyson Fury in talks for a WWE return.
Yes!
Shotzi deletes Twitter after Money in the Bank criticism, and future plans for 2 AEW championships have been revealed. Big excitement for Tyson Fury.
So excited. I couldn't contain myself there in the headline.
Give Me Sport saying, we've learned from sources close to Fury he is in talks with WWE regarding a potential return this summer. Nothing is finalized at this stage. No concrete plans to have him on any shows, but we do know that discussions have taken place. His return would tie in with Clash at the Castle, which is slated to take place on September the 30th in Cardiff, Wales. Also noted that we've not been told whether Fury's potential return will be for an in-ring appearance or for the show on the show, or whether there are also talks to have him wrestle again.
That's really interesting, especially because Tyson Fury's obviously been keeping this thing alive, hasn't he, in press conferences and stuff.
Yeah.
And the wrestler he always calls out, and the one who always bites back at him, is Drew McIntyre. But you'd expect at Clash at the Castle, there's been a lot of speculation that Drew will be the one to get the big title shot at Roman Reigns at Clash at the Castle, because he's from the UK and it would make sense for their first pay-per-view in 30 years for us to have like a British challenger go up against Roman. But does this mean that Fury will do something else? Will he cost Drew? The possibilities aren't endless. There's a few possibilities.
I kind of feel like, and I think I might mention this when sort of speculation started a while back, I kind of see them doing what they did with Austin Michaels and Mike Tyson, and have Tyson Fury as an enforcer that could potentially be leaning more towards the antagonist side, but then end up being like, oh, I was behind Drew all the way.
It's just a wee. I feel I'm going to put my neck on the line, and I think, because there's been a lot of rampant optimism in this office that Drew will beat Roman for the belt if that match takes place. Because it's in the UK, it's got to happen. But I don't think it will. I mean, Roman's too strong.
He's just too strong.
Just too strong.
Just a strong boy.
Yeah.
I, for one, I love the idea, because obviously, you know, it's UK. I love the idea of Drew winning it in Cardiff. Incidentally, it is funny how, like, we're happy to accept the conurbation confusion by the fact that it's headlined in Wales, but it's a guy from Scotland. But we're going, yeah, I'll do.
That's
close
fine.
enough.
That's fine.
Come on.
They've not got enough time to build up Mark Andrews.
They've got plenty of time. Crack
I
on
would
with
love to see Mark Andrews in the Underdog Challenger. That would be so good.
Mark Andrews, Roman Reigns, make it happen, you cowards. But Drew, so I'd love to see Drew win the belt. I think the pop would be sensational. I think anybody deserves a pop that sensational would be Drew.
He missed out on his pop during lockdown.
Yeah, no pops during lockdown, you know, and he can have his pick of them at Cardiff. However, I there's a bit of the chaotic good in me where I think, oh, Roman screwing Drew in the main event.
Oh, it's the chaotic evil in you, Tom, surely.
Chaotic evil in me.
Or Fury screwing Drew.
Yeah,
okay.
there's something quite tantalizing about, or like Drew getting his moment and then a cash in. And I'm just like, oh, the chaotic evil in me is like, oh, you dairy so-and-sos.
It would be strong. It would be a bold move. We'll have to wait and see. I wonder if we're speculating all of this and then it'll turn out to be a relatively inconsequential show with no title changes or anything, no major shocks. We'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, that's a shame. You're saying Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall again?
Yes, I am.
Oh. Let's talk about Shotzi. So we mentioned yesterday Shotzi had fired back about a lot of criticism that she'd had regarding the botches that she did at the Money in the Bank. She's since deactivated Twitter, and she mentioned this. She put an Instagram story out as well, saying, I appreciate everyone checking on me, but I swear I'm fine. I've been going through the toughest year of my personal life, so it's deeper than nasty comments, but also Twitter has not helped with my already fragile mind state. Just trying to stay motivated and positive. I'm focused on my goals and not what's on the internet. One thing we didn't bring up yesterday, which I think is why there's been a lot of anger levied towards Shotzi, is that Shotzi was very quick to come at Chris Jericho when the Blood and Guts match happened. And there was the spot where he fell off the cage and landed on the
original Blood and Guts match.
Yes. He landed on the sleep tight mattress.
Okay.
And she posted gifs of somebody bouncing on a bed and all that stuff. And there's a lot of people that have messaged and said, you know, surely this is karma. I said, well, I wouldn't call telling somebody to get sacked as karma.
No,
Yeah. You do you. But I thought it was pertinent to mention it because quite a few other people have mentioned that. Okay. I think a reason why there's so much animosity towards Shotzi is because she was so quick to jump on Chris Jericho.
I see.
During that time.
Yeah.
But worth pointing that out.
At the same time, though, she did have a rough match, a rough time
did.
Money in the Bank, and I think we can definitely sympathise with that. Like, it's never nice to see. Thankfully, everyone was okay. Well, I think she was bleeding actually at one point, but thankfully she seems to be okay.
Yeah.
And I think if what she said in her Instagram story is true and she's focusing on her goals and not what's on the internet, then deleting her Twitter account, I think she'll see the benefit of that.
Quite a healthy thing to do.
Yeah, wish I had the balls to do that. But I can't get rid of my followers.
Oh, I'd lose my verified tick, I think, if I did. I just have to...
Oh, I don't know what one of them is.
I'd have to keep suffering fools gladly till then. Let's talk about WES.
No, let's not do that.
Let's talk about WES. So this is the show coming out of the Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham. What's the latest, Jack?
So Adam Callier on Twitter has said, just been told, was this on Twitter, I believe?
It was on Twitter.
Just been told that the rearranged WES show, which still has people advertised on the poster who aren't coming and is being held at the 10,000 seat Motorpoint Arena in Nottingham, has sold less than 350 tickets.
I got a little feeling in my chest when I first read that.
Oh.
A bit like the time when we watched 5-Star Wrestling on telly and they did that opening shot and it was of an empty Newcastle Arena. And I went, oh no, don't do a crowd shot.
Well, there's more, because yesterday the WES official Twitter put out 2 tweets. One was about getting the show on Fight this Saturday. Are you going to watch it?
Well, I can't. I'm at North, sadly.
I'm on holiday. I'm leaving on a jet plane that day.
But, yeah, I'm going to watch some other wrestling on Saturday, so I can't. I've made a little mistake in the write-up of the quote there, and happy should be happening. Just a bit of admin during your news.
The second tweet they put out was the Lana versus CJ match. That's CJ Perry. No, sorry. So the Nia Jax versus Lana match, basically, but under their new names, is no longer happening due to several circumstances. But they've deleted both those tweets now. The one about getting on Fight and the one about Nia Jax versus Lana being cancelled. So
I looked for them this morning and I couldn't see them.
So I believe that we here at Cultaholic have been doing some journalistic digging to try and get to the bottom of this topic.
We have. So I spoke to several of the talents who are involved with this show. The general consensus that's coming back is they've been paid. They've been told, they've been booked officially, but there's a general vibe that they're unsure as to if it'll go ahead at all.
And I mean, you might say, well, they've been paid, so why do they care? Well, the problem is that a lot of wrestlers have got very busy schedules and they don't want to double book themselves because they'll be effectively missing out on another payday, another promotion.
Well, this was Matt Rewalt's issue, is that Matt
exactly he said on Twitter,
blocked out the time to come to the UK and then just kind of got ghosted. Mojo Rawley is in the UK. Dean Mutardi is in the UK. He put out a tweet saying he was in London, who's ready to get hyped. But then it's weird because like some of the stuff that I'm seeing from wrestlers who are on, like with days counting down to this show, I'm not seeing a lot of these key wrestlers really talk about the show.
No,
like Dean Mutardi, who's he put out a tweet. I'm in London. Who's ready to get hyped? Like no mention in that tweet of, hey, come to Nottingham, please.
There's something going on. There's a disconnect somewhere, and I think that the worst part is that wrestling has a history of this. We saw it with 5-Star, for example, of these like mega shows being announced, but not aimed at a specific audience. Like this isn't appealing to the hardcore or the casual WWE fans in a huge arena, just filled with names that possibly aren't going to show up now, and we could see this was probably going to not work from the start. Really, it's unfortunate.
Less than 350 tickets in a 10,000 seater. Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
How can it go? Do you think it will go ahead?
I mean, I hope for the 350 people that bought tickets, it does.
And I hope they get personal chauffeurs into the arena.
The main thing I hope is that everybody that's on the show has been, financially dealt with, they're not out of pocket in any way, shape or form, because that's the worst thing is when you block out time for stuff and you end up out of pocket for it. So I hope everybody's, it seems like that is the case across the board. Some other news about wrestling from across the pond here in the UK. Major League Wrestling have signed a UK TV deal. I want to give this a bit of love. If you've got Sky Channel 191 tonight at 9 o'clock, we think is Ayuzat TV. MLW Fusion's on from 9 o'clock tonight.
I wonder what's
great.
I wonder what's made that. That's quite cool, isn't it? I mean, MLW are I think kind of one of the promotions that people overlook quite a lot. I'm guilty of it myself. Impacted really well during the pandemic, and they have now retroactively got a lot of love and respect for that. Like, oh, you did really well during. I think MLW deserve a bit as well.
Yeah, they had a short shutdown during it, but then they kind of got back up and running in front of empty arenas and shows like that. But they've kept on keeping on, and they've got a really solid roster of people under their books. And the fusion tonight is going to see. You're going to get to see Jacob Fatu, Samoan SWAT team in action. You'll get to see performances by like Alex Hammerstone and guys like that on Friday as well, because on Friday they're going to be doing like retro shows looking back at some old MLW stuff. So 2 nights a week on Sky Channel 191, MLW's there. Do seek it out.
Good for them.
It's a good time.
Yes.
Let's talk finally about some other UK-based endeavours and American connections. What are we talking about, Jack?
Tony Khan, Big TK, was speaking on the Masked Man podcast, and he was talking about the future of the All-Atlantic Championship. He was saying Pac is going back to England. He's back he's going back to England. He's back in England now. He's quick. He's really fast.
Pac's really fast at flying.
He's back in England now, and he is going to defend the title internationally. It's a travelling championship because the champions of AEW, because of the TV commitments, all the other champions we really have booked here throughout the year, let's have a champion that can go and defend the title. I think he's saying that we've kind of locked everybody in, but let's have someone who can go out and defend it internationally.
Like a goodwill ambassador with some gold.
He's also said that Tony Khan adds, Thunder Rosa has already also talked about defending the Women's World Championship abroad, which I'm open to as well. So yeah, now perhaps we see the purpose of the All-Atlantic Championship revealed before us. Because at first we were like, there's too many belts, Tony. There's too many belts. But now, maybe if this one serves a bit of a different purpose, then we can see what it was for.
We know this month it'll be defended at Rev Pro and OTT. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it popping up in other places in the next few months as well. I like
maybe WES in Nottingham, 10,000 seat arena. Pac, go on.
And the crowd go.
Alistair Overeem's won the All-Atlantic Championship.
What a turn up!
He's going to hand it over to his countryman, Malachi Black.
Make that a thing, you cowards. and Thunder Rosa as well. I know that there's talk of her doing stuff in Japan. I think there's plans for a Japan tour for her, so defending that in Japan would be amazing as well.
Yes.
Speaking of Japan, one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions is on Desert Island Graps tonight. Francesco Akira is having a chat with me about becoming the first Italian to win a belt in New Japan.
Fantastic.
What a result that is. The pressure that comes with that as well. And of course, he picks 3 wrestling matches that he'd watch while stranded on Desert Island. If you're on the Patreon, you get to watch the video of this. And I love the fact that he sat at his computer desk where he's got his table, he's got his PC tower, on top of his PC tower, the IWGP Junior Tag Team title. just on top of, in the same way that somebody would have like a cup of coffee on top of their laptop, on top of their tower, he's got the IWGP Championship.
Might as well.
What a guy. Francesco Akira's ace, and he's on the podcast feed later today. And more news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.